That's good. The higher difficulty, you can get a higher quantity of those fucking things. Yes. Whatever. I don't even want no more gun anyway.
Released a limited time Halloween event that introduces new enemies, weapons and mods, and mutators. Here is 10 important things you need to know when you jump in. It's called Aberration Domination, and it runs from the 27th of October until the 31st. There was a delay on the PS5, so hopefully they extend the event to make up for it. If you don't get a chance to jump on during this new event, don't stress, because you can still unlock all of the new items. It's only during this event that you can farm the new needed resources much faster, but after the event you can still farm the resources just at a slower rate. It has added the highly requested loadout system, so we can now all quickly switch between up to 9 different loadouts. To access the loadouts, just double tap the stats button and you'll see your 9 open loadout slots. You can save, load, override, or even delete the loadout here. I can't wait to fill my functionality and mod and rank builds to suit all situations. Dwell, the merchant in 413, has new corrupted weapon variants available for 10 corrupted shards. This is the new resource dropped from the new aberrations. So far I've played around with the corrupted merciless and it feels really powerful, but I'll talk about that a bit more later on. The main thing to know though about these new weapons is that if you buy it, you swap it for your standard variant of that gun. So you actually lose the original and have to spend Simulcrum and trade the corrupted variant back in to get the original back. So you can't have them both at the same time, and you may prefer the standard variant over the new corrupted one as they have much different uses. The corrupted variants have new mods and function totally different. I've seen a few people online asking what's the best way to trigger the aberration events and farm the new resource. The quickest and simplest way I have found to be on the Nightmare difficulty enroll adventure mode on any map you prefer, and then simply run through it like normal and kill all the enemies you come across. This has spawned more new aberrations than I can count, and they've awarded me more than 8 new mutators and heaps of new corrupted shard material. As well as new weapons and mods, the event has added so many new powerful mutators. So far I've found 8 mutators that all have unique abilities. For the guns, I have found the bottom feeder, the bottom heavy, ingenuity, kill switch, and spirit healer. I've put up all of the mutators so you can check their abilities out. I'm most excited about the spirit healer for its health regen mod build that would work perfectly with my Misty mod build that I posted up a couple of weeks ago. Is there any mutators you're most excited for? As for the new guns, it varies what guns you have access to. For me, I can access the Deceit, Merciless, and the Meridian. I've only been able to test out the Corrupted Merciless so far, and it's quite interesting. It's totally different to the normal Merciless. It has 3 rounds in a magazine with a slow rate of fire. It has a brand new mod called Bloodshot, and this gives unlimited ammo reserves and quicker reloads. The best part is if you can hit all 3 shots into weak spots, then the gun automatically reloads instantly, giving some very high DPS if you're accurate enough. I'll test the new guns soon and make a separate video about them. If you have access to a different weapon than me, please let me know what it is. The aberrations are new enemies. Well, they're actually old enemies that have now become aberrations with new attacks. Some are very strong and surprise you as you don't know what to expect. So far I've faced about 10 new aberrations, but I know there'll be plenty more. I haven't even tried Naruto yet. The 3 main worlds seem to have the same amount of new aberrations in them. I'd be interested to see what happens in Root Earth, but I haven't redone a story mode to find out. If you've done that, please let me know if there's any new ones there. This event has also made the normal bosses we've come to get used to have new attacks that are hard to deal with because we don't really know what to expect until you get used to them. The crazy chainsaw guy, the Morrow Parish, was shooting all of these flying electrical orbs at me from distances that I wasn't used to. It really changes up the fight. Normally it's pretty easy to keep your distance from this guy, but this time it was a lot harder to not be overwhelmed from this new attack. All of the world bosses I've encountered also have new movesets as well, so watch out for those. I think after this event is finished, the attacks from the world bosses and all of the other bosses will actually go back to normal, but I'm not quite sure. I almost forgot to mention that we also get new melee weapon mutators as well. I'm only in the early stages, but so far I've found 3 more. The Edgelord, Latency, and the Shocker. Edgelord seems to be very powerful with melee charge speed increasing to 3% life steal at level 10. This would work great in the melee regen build, but also the Shocker one sounds quite interesting. Is there any in this list that you're quite excited for, or have you found some others? Lastly, there is the 2 secret items at the Dwell Merchant's place. I'm not sure what they are yet, and I haven't been able to see anything online, but I feel they have something to do with all the pumpkins around Ward 13. Maybe if we find all of them and smash them we get something, but I'm not quite sure. If you know more about it, please let me know. Also, there must be something to do with the massive pumpkin in the garden in Ward 13. So many new secrets for us to find out. If you know anything about any of it, please let me know. Anyway, that's it for now, and I hope you enjoyed the Halloween event.
Power Max gels, cold and gluten, with more concentrated power. Because the only thing preventing should be your style. Plop Plop is Winter Warriors with Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Hunters, welcome back to the Gunner's Guild. We're back with Remnant 2 since we got an update, a lot to talk about actually. So we're going to cover the patch notes, what's new, what changed, what's not listed, and my thoughts on it. So grab a drink, sit back, and let's dive into this. So the patch notes are huge, and feel free to read them whenever you get a chance, but there is a lot here. Not a ton of it actually matters to me too much, but there are still a huge amount of fixes and quality of life changes here, so I'm going to highlight the biggest things from me. But again, I do highly recommend you look them over yourselves. First up, we have the Halloween event. For one, I can't believe we're actually getting a Halloween event in Remnant. That just seems kind of crazy. So this Halloween event is going to grant us corrupted fragments that we can use to make corrupted weapons. Yes, please. I always want more weapons. And two, these new weapons are actually alternate forms of our current weapons, which is something that I love to see ever since Bloodborne. Hopefully we can get the boss weapons without mod slots or something like that, but just slightly different stats of our pre-existing weapons. Hopefully it's cool, hopefully we get more of these in the future. And then the third thing about this is that the actual aberrations are not a timed event specifically. They are a permanent addition to the game, and they have a 25% chance to spawn on Apocalypse and lower on lesser difficulties, but mutators to collect, which is also pretty awesome. These aberrations also include new modifiers, which we can start seeing on any aberration going forward. So again, more exciting stuff all around. Next, we have more huge wins. Evade detection for clients has been improved. I'm not going to say it's fixed until I play it thoroughly, but anything is an improvement. It's going to be huge. Remnant has always had this issue since the first game, where the enemy's hits needed to be dodged early if you were to get to a host in co-op. And the hitboxes are desynced, or maybe it turns out the player evade wasn't working properly. Either way, co-op was always bad about that. That's the reason why I didn't dive into survival co-op too much around the one, and why I haven't done anything in Remnant 2, because it's just a hassle to learn enemy metrics to the client, then have to muscle memory your way out of dodging to the host, it's just blah. But this is still a big improvement to the game, so I'm definitely going to be checking out more co-op content in the future. Next, we have loadouts. This has been a feature that's actually been requested for a long time, way back in Remnant 1, even when we had a extent of the items that we now in Remnant 2. So we are, of course, very excited to see this implemented, as this is another big win for Remnant 2. I am a little bit worried, though, from a build perspective, because now there's no reason to make builds that can do both map clearing and bossing very well, as we'll be able to really swap between these builds at checkpoints and things. So we can have entirely different setups for different situations, and we no longer have to cover all our bases with the build. You can just hyper-focus on AoE and trash clear, and then swap immediately to a boss setup, or you can just keep it like so that you can run really fast and just run through zones. Especially since it has traits as well, and now we can just have one button to go from mapping to bossing. So yeah, I really don't know how it's going to look for builds in the future, but we're going to see. The next big thing is the armor rebalance, which we know is coming, and yes, we're grateful for about that on the Reddit Discord. Basically, the takeaway here is that armor is far more even across the weight bracket, so light armor are not as efficient weight-wise, like weight for armor, as heavy armors are, which are slightly nerfed to lighter armors and heavy armors, but now also heavy armors have their stamina penalties, which is weird because they just reduced those in like the last armor pass through. This doesn't affect me very much because I always tend to play with light armor, but we'll see the community of learning about how armor changes. I personally don't think it's going to change much about the game, but I just want to see how many people scream armor nerf in the game. So with armor nerf, we also got to change to the strong back for challenger. Now instead of reduced encumbrance, it now increases our weight bracket. So your medium can be up to 65 weight instead of 50, and your lightweight can be up to 40 instead of 25, which is way more interesting in my opinion. I like that. Knowing orc sustain to be super easy, so you can pull around that. Bringing a Deflection having a 35% chance to convert full damage to great health is still pretty RNG, but that's damn near reliable RNG. The medics go on that one. Seal the Empress might as well have no stamina penalty since it's 5 now, so that's a bunch of flat HP. And do a lot of ranging stack. We have a ton, and I mean a ton of bug fixes, performance fixes, and little mesh fixes and stuff like that. I really just can't talk about them all. But there are 3 big ones I want to mention first. So the first one is engineering. This is very, very interesting. It says they fixed an issue where overclock was not affected by skill duration mod. Now I'm confident about this, and as far as I'm aware, overclock being a prime perk was not intended to be affected by skill cooldown, because the prime perk, taking a dawn revive or challenger revive perks is being affected by skill cooldown. So I always assumed that we would eventually get rid of it on engineer's overclock, but it seems that they're doubling down on this now, making it officially supported. Now you can extend the duration of overclock as well, which is absolutely bonkers. Engineer got a big bump with this one on top of all the other fixes to active cannons and scaling and such. So pure engineering build is really, really good now. And then the last bug that I want to hammer down on is that finally,
subscribe, like, watch my videos, I'll appreciate this.